Nadine Dorries is all over tomorrow's front pages. The Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport uploaded a video this week in which she says that she's responsible for making sure that you have enough, wait for it, tennis pitches, not tennis courts, she said tennis pitches. And she also said we should make sure we have super fast broadband in our homes to downstream our movies. That's right, downstream as opposed to stream or download. Take a look.
So I'm Secretary of State for the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, which means that we're responsible for making sure you have super fast broadband in your home. That means you can downstream your movies. We're responsible for everything to do with sport, for making sure you've got football pitches and that you have tennis pitches in your communities where you can play and exercise your sports.
Tennis pitches, I look forward to seeing those at Wimbledon. Maybe Harry Kane will be in the singles final. Well, today Nadine Dorries tweeted that it was her dyslexia that caused this slip of the tongue. Here's what she said on Twitter. She said, "I have dyslexia, which means that when I speak, I often run my words together and say things that sound like the words I'm trying to say. Dyslexia affects people differently. For me, it affects my speech more than my writing, which is why I find solace in writing." Well, what's this all called? It's actually called neurodivergency, OK? You're neurodivergent if your brain works differently to the norm. It's an issue for millions of people across the UK, with many fighting an invisible war every day with dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD, autism, anxiety and a myriad of other diagnoses. So are these ailments a disability or a superpower? After all, famous dyslexics have included Albert Einstein, Tom Cruise and Walt Disney. So is blaming your mistakes at work on neurodivergency too easy? Is it the ultimate excuse? And is it sending the wrong message that subpar work is the norm just because you're wired differently? What do we think about this? Tommy Sandu, do you think... let's get my panel, we're just going to get them all lined up, because I think it's something that we have to address. For example, in the 1950s, dyslexia wasn't understood at all, and sometimes left-handed kids would actually have their hands strapped to their back so that they used their right hand. Tommy Sandu, do you think we need to be more understanding about neurodivergency, or is it just hokum?
Funny you say that. I'm left-handed, and when I was little, my mum put sellotape around my fingers so I wouldn't use my left hand, and I broke into a fever, and then she took it off the next day. She was like, never again, let him be a weird lefty in the hand sense, not in the other way. But it's a thing, you know, and I think these conditions, whatever they may be, have been around, like you say, for hundreds, if not thousands of years, but now we're recognising them. I always just thought, whatever your conditions are, you just got to find a kind of a job that's kind of appropriate. You can find a place to be where those conditions might not be so much of a factor. But I want to say, the slip-ups that she made, Mark, I don't think they're big slip-ups. You call it a pitch, you call it a court, you call it a field. That's OK. But I've grown up in an Indian household where my mum to this day says the electricity bill. It's not mum, it's electricity. Electricity bill. OK, fine. We let it go. Development instead of development. These things, it goes on all the time. So I think I quite like the quirkiness of the different ways in which people say things and do things, and I think it's the variation of life that makes it all so wonderful.
Benjamin Loughnane, I'm detecting some tough love coming in.
No, look, she may well have dyslexia or neurodivergency, but I'm sure her special advisors, of which she has many, probably don't all have the exact same breed of it. Why was no one reviewing that video and saying, we can't put this out, this makes her look horrifically unprofessional? It makes it look like she's just filmed it on her own in a room and thought, yeah, I'll just pop that up online, that'll be great, that'll be brilliant, and there's no review whatsoever. Is that really what we want from ministers in Cabinet, just filming videos on their own, putting them up, not even checking that what they've said is accurate, correct, or makes any sense? It's ridiculous. It just looks really sloppy and unprofessional. I don't think that's a good look for our government.
I'm torn on this one, Laura, because I think we need to identify symptoms that people have that are little understood. I'm also worried, though, that this will be weaponised by lazy or ineffective workers.
OK, so I think the worst thing about this for me is how mean everyone's being about it. I've got no patience with how cruel people are when others make mistakes. Now, honestly, I could have said something like downstreaming films, and I could easily make any number of sports errors. I probably have referred to tennis pitches and football courts. I've got no idea. So why is it that some people want to jump upon mistakes like that with glee? And the sort of people that want to jump on those mistakes are the others who would normally be standing up for people with neurodiverse conditions. So I don't like that side of it. But I do think that Benjamin's made a very good point. I think the mistakes are innocent, they're very forgivable. But I think that it really lacks professionalism for a minister to be posting videos directly onto TikTok. Especially if she's capable of making slip-ups like that. It should be a bit more professional and polished, even if she's just trying to come across as herself. And there's nothing wrong with coming across as herself at all.